This is beautiful. This is Burkina Faso. President Ibrahim Traore welcoming traditional African spiritualists into his office. You know what? Africa is returning, and she is returning back in Burkina Faso. I want us to, the full video, come back and talk about it. But before we do that, this is One Africa Mission. One Africa Mission, what is our mission all about? Our mission is about the unity of our continent and our collective dignity as a race. It doesn't matter where you are as a melanated person, whether you are in the Caribbean, whether you are in Australia, the Aboriginals, whether you are in India, the untouchable, the Black Americans, the Black Europeans, the Black Chinese, everywhere you are as a melanated person, until Africa regain back her dignity and be respected, you will never be respected. That is a fact. So please, wherever you are, support our mission. Our mission is to undo what the colonial criminals did to the continent of Africa by petitioning and dividing Africa among themselves. Our mission is to undo that and unite the continent of Africa for our collective dignity and our collective good. So please support our mission. How do you support us? Is by sharing what we are doing if you appreciate it. Also try to support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel if you haven't taken time out of your busy schedule to do that. A lot of people haven't done that yet. Do it. Is it because we are talking about the unity of our continent or our collective dignity? That is why we cannot even take our YouTube channel to 10K subscribers. Do that. Let us prove to the world that we can do that. Yes, as I said, Africa is returning, and she is returning back in Burkina Faso. I don't want to talk too much. Let's go and watch President Ibrahim Traore with the traditionalists in Burkina Faso come back and talk about it. Yes, as I said, what is more amazing living to see a day like this? A day where an African leader would be bold enough to receive people who believe and represent the spirituality of Africa. Because our spirituality was demonized, at least for the past 2,000 years. For the past 2,000 years, we have been so ashamed to align with our own spirituality. The Indians are proud to whatever spirituality Mother Nature has given to them. The Arabians are proud to whatever spirituality that Mother Nature has given to them. The Europeans, the same thing. As we speak now, the Europeans are celebrating Easter. That is their spirituality. The Chinese have their own. But for whatever reason, we allow ourselves to be manipulated to hate or to be ashamed of our spirituality. And today, we have an African leader who is bold enough to welcome people who believe in the spirituality of the continent of Africa. This is monumental. This is this is the kind of leadership we have been crying for. And then we can see that in President Ibrahim Traore. Now, my question is, when is the president of Ghana going to be bold enough to embrace the African spirituality and invite Ghanaian spiritual leaders to come and have a dialogue with him? When is the president of Kenya going to be bold and be proud to see himself as an African and proudly invite Kenyan spiritual leaders, people who believe in African spirituality, what our ancestors, what Mother Nature has given to us? When is the president of Kenya going to be bold and be proud enough to invite them into his office to talk about the problems and the challenges facing Kenya? When is the president of Malawi, the president of Zambia, the president of Gambia, the president of all the 54 states that we have, that Africa have been existing for millions of years, our way of spirituality, when our leaders are going to be bold enough to invite and boldly open up and welcome people who believe in our way of spirituality into their office, like President Ibrahim Traore is doing. He's not ashamed about our African way of life. He's not ashamed about our African spirituality. And everywhere in the world, people who are leading their countries, their continent, they are not ashamed of that. It is only in Africa that we are ashamed of that. How did we allow ourselves to be manipulated like that until the coming of President Ibrahim Traore? It has always been shameful to see an African leader aligning themselves to the continent or to spirituality. That is why I say Africa is returning. And then she is returning back in Burkina Faso. That is why no matter what the colonial criminals will do, they can never bring down President Ibrahim Traore. They can never, because the continent of Africa is behind this man. That is why you see them sponsoring almost 20 coup d'etats, 20 assassination attempts within 4 years, and all of that has failed because this man is being sent by the gods of Africa to lift and bring back African dignity. We must all stand behind President Ibrahim Traore. I thank you very much for coming around. Please, if you appreciate what we are doing, as I said, support our mission. Take time out of your busy schedules. Follow us on Facebook, on TikTok, and then please let us take our YouTube channel to 10K subscribers. Me and you, we have a duty to handle a better Africa to the next generation of Africans. Let us do it. Let us join President Ibrahim Traore. Let us join those in the Sahel. Let us be proud of who we are, because everywhere in the world, people are proud of themselves. It is only we, the children of Africa, who allow ourselves to be manipulated by our colonial criminals to think that everything about us was negative and everything about them was positive. Go and read King Leopold's letter to the missionaries. That is why we are also missionaries, to undo what they did to us. I thank you for coming around.